Hi, my name is Jacob and I'm with my Amazon guy. In this video, I'll be discussing best practices for Amazon for photos. If you need any help selling on Amazon, reach out to me at jacob@myamazonguy.com. So we're going to want to optimize our listing in order to maximize sales. And part of that is going to be in photography. So here we see Amazon's guide, right? So they have certain requirements that they want each photo to hold. Most of it's branding wise. They want a white background. That way when customers are going down, everything kind of, not necessarily nothing that stands out, but everything's kind of on an even playing field there. As you read here, images are very important to customers, so quality matters. You know, they're trying to create the best customer experience for Amazon members as possible, and it's our job as sellers to capture their attention and be able to execute on them. So we're going to kind of we'll go over these a little bit as we go through the video, but I'll link this in the description. And this is just a really great guide on how to structure your photos to make sure that Amazon doesn't take them down. We've seen a big crackdown lately on Amazon enforcing a lot of these rules specifically for the hero. I'll be referring to that often in the videos. The hero or main image is that first image you see on a listing. This is a great listing right here. So this photo right here is the hero. It's a good glossary. These are our secondary images, okay? So this hero has to be on a white background, preferably of an adequate size. These secondary images don't actually have to be on a white background. You can get a little bit more creative there, and we're going to delve in a little bit deeper on that later in the video. So in order to accommodate Amazon and still make sure that we're standing out from the crowd and helping customers visualize themselves buying these products, we've created a few best practices that you guys can implement right now to get your photography game on the next level for Amazon. So this right here is the hero image, as we've said, and notice how it's on a white background. If you will look at my cursor right here, that outside of the product itself and a little bit of a shadow, it is white. So in terms of RGB, it has to be 255, 255, 255. In layman terms, that means there's no other color besides white in there, right? So there's pure black, pure white, and then all the colors in the middle there. You have to go all the way to the end of the spectrum there in order for it to get approved. It'll look really, really, really funky if you don't. We are actually on a perfect example for having a clean white background there. So right here you see where we don't have a white background. So this photo, of course, it's black, gray, white. You know, kind of looks like it may have been photoshopped together. But most importantly, if you look right here in the corners, where the product isn't, instead of it there being a white background, it's a gray background. So there is a high likelihood this photo gets rejected at some point. Most of the photo uploading stuff goes through an automated tool. Sometimes there'll be some Amazon employees that will look at it. But if you don't have a pure white background, the high likelihood is that you are going to get targeted by Amazon for violating their photo requirements for a main/hero image. Next thing we're going to focus on is having pictures in focus, right? So what do I mean by focus? So when you take a picture, you are going to have your camera is going to focus on a certain area, right? Think about it just like your eyes. If I'm looking right here at my finger, it's going to be harder to see something like where the camera is. Now, if I look at the camera, my finger's up close, it's going to be hard to see my finger. So the idea is the camera operates in a similar manner where it focuses on one thing. In order to give customers a realistic expectation of the product, you need to have the photo in focus. This applies to the main photo and the secondary photo. So right here, this is just a portrait found on a website that I prefer called Pexels. And this is just a portrait of a young man in a t-shirt. be some pretty basic lifestyle photography. If you were going to use this on your like secondary photos, it would be a good one because it's a photo in action. But notice how he's in focus. The background's going to be blurred out a little bit, but you can see him in enough quality to understand what the t-shirt looks like, or in this case, what the portraiture would look like. Now, if we go over here, this is another great photo. However, when we zoom in a little bit, we see that this is all out of focus, right? So it looks blurry. Just like when I look at my finger and I try to see the camera, it's blurry. So if you're trying to focus right here, okay, you do a good job. However, most Amazon photos are not going to look like this, especially for your hero photo, because most of it will need to be in focus, right? So if my fist is the product and I don't have, or if there's multiple of my fists right here, I want them all in focus, or at least to a point where it's not super blurry. But you have to make sure the camera or lens you're using, whatever, your kit or the photographer you hire gets it in focus to make sure they can see the full quality of the image. I've seen it time and time again where on lifestyle photos there's a lot of blur. So this right here is probably a stylistic photo. However, if this was uploaded to Amazon, I feel like a lot of customers would be a little bit confused. So what happens when you're looking at something? You were looking at a series of pictures, basically. It's just like when you're shooting a video, shooting a series of pictures that are compiled together. When you're taking a singular photo, there's a certain amount of time it takes, what they call its shutter speed, and depending on how quickly you're taking the photo, if something moves during that time, it's going to be blurry, right? So this one was probably on purpose, but it probably took him 2 or 3 seconds to take the photo, and these people moved in a relatively quick manner, so that's why you don't see them, is because it just has little bits of them, but wasn't able to completely get them, and that's why it's blurry. So the next thing we're going to focus on is why dimensions matter, right? So when I'm on an Amazon listing, I could be on my phone, I could be on my tablet, I could be on a computer, I could be putting it on a projector. I mean, there's so many places I could be viewing things nowadays. And in order to accommodate all the gambit of devices that people could be viewing on, you want to have a picture that is large enough. So right here is a great example of an image that's large enough to where it zooms in, right? This capability right here is absolutely fantastic because then you can see a little bit more detail when you compare here to, to its right, the zoomed in image. And so the dimensions need to be, at least my recommendation would be 2000 by 2000 for that hero image. Preferably the same for your secondary, except on those, you have a little bit more leverage. So 2000 by 2000 is going to be a square. Just a good best practice for the hero. The secondary, you're welcome to have any kind of shape. You go what works for your brand. I just think squares are really, really helpful since most of the little swatches, the mini version of the photos, referring to these guys right here, are in a rectangle that squares can also fit into pretty cleanly. So this photo right here, if we look over here, it's 2700 by 2700, right? So that means if I had to blow up this picture, it doesn't lose a lot of quality, right? You can still see the quality in here. Whereas a photo like this, which is, 500 by 400, something like this, if I try to blow it up, let's go ahead and try right here. Look at the loss of quality. The dogs are still cute. That is still there. However, there's a lot of loss in quality because as I had to blow it up in order for it to fit the screen, the quality went down. So again, this one, bigger dimensions, so slightly bigger file. However, you're able to retain more quality when you zoom in because it's just a bigger image. On a smaller device, it's hard to say if it would really do that much of a difference, but we want to accommodate all users, not just certain devices. Okay, so Amazon will come out sometimes and make changes that are great for the platform, but really make it difficult for us as sellers to accommodate all the little changes. One of the changes that has happened recently is they kind of did a slight overhaul. It was more of a reinforcement of previous rules. And we're going to break that down a little bit and talk about how we can deal with that. So if you have a white background, just like right here with your product as your hero, the likelihood, and there's no text or anything fancy here, the likelihood that's going to get taken down is going to be super, super small in the future. I would be very surprised if Amazon forced every single seller to do that. However, one of the things that happened recently is they stopped allowing models in the picture for the hero, right? So this hero / main image, you could have, just like right here in the secondary image, a model or something, but here you weren't able to. So this is a great example. One thing that is great to look at on someone's wrist to get a sense of size is a watch right here. However, for your hero, you're not able to do that. So if you look at watches, they all look basically the same, where it's just your watch with a white background. Now, if you uploaded this right here, this would get rejected for a few reasons, right? So first reason, it's not a white background. Second reason, it's on someone's wrist. The only places you are allowed to have a hero photo with a model is adult apparel. That's it. Every other one has to be in a white background, no person in the photo. So again, this would be a clean, and this would be one that would be rejected. Okay, so another thing that happened is it was kind of a gray area when it came to text, logos, borders, color blocks, watermarks, and other graphics over the hero image, right? So I've seen a lot of companies get away with this in the hero, and now it gets corrected down. And I've seen a lot of companies get away with this in their secondary photos, and that's also getting cracked down. But as a best practice, keeping your text, logos, borders, etc. out of the hero photo is a good idea, and then having both versions of a secondary photo, with or without, available. That way, if one gets taken down, you can move on the other. So here's a good example, just another clean hero shot, nothing in the background, right? No text or anything. And then right here, you notice how they have text, graphics, etc. And again, a logo on there is kind of different, but this is what we're focused on right here. Like a mini infographic as a hero, there's a high likelihood that's going to get taken down at some point. And again, that just comes down to Amazon's uniformity. This versus just this right here, there's a little bit of a slight competitive advantage towards this one. So I think they're just trying to even the playing field, quote unquote, just by having all the heroes look the same, make it a better UI for the customers. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about the secondary photos. So these right here are what really drive home a point for a customer, right? Why visually, or how visually we can express to our customers why they should buy it. That's probably the best way of thinking about it. And so like an example would be if you had shampoo, something like from here up, them putting the shampoo in their hair. You want the clients to visualize themselves using the product, or in some way, whatever makes sense for your brand. Another example would be if you're selling a table, maybe have a lifestyle shoot of the family playing a card game on the table, or eating dinner on the table. Something to help insert the idea of your brand, your product in their daily lives using it. At least for me, if I see someone using something that I want, I'm like, okay, at least I know it works, type of thing. It especially kind of gets the scary part out of it. It's like, well, is that fake or whatnot? But if you have their real product really being used in a photo, it's going to relax you a lot. So this is a great photo right here of this product right here, where it's in action, right? So a mom can look at this listing and truly see like, oh, like, it feels like it would fit for my toddler. Awesome. The whole lifestyle that's right there that fits that specific company's brand, and also shows it in action. Here's another one. This one's not super crazy, because they could have someone throwing this football. However, it's a football on the grass. It kind of gives you that environment, or kind of, if you're buying football, then you've probably thrown football before, and you've probably played it on the field. So it's just getting you to associate the Wilson NCAA football with the field, etc. Right, tie you back. So here's one where someone's catching the football or holding up right there. This would be a great example. If you're selling this backpack right here, go hire, maybe give a few products away to some photographers and say, hey, go take some lifestyle photos with this, and boom, this would be an awesome photo to throw up. You might have to spend a few $100, but this photo right here would be a great way to sell this backpack on Amazon. It's really engaging. It's not only a gorgeous photo, because the landscape is awesome, but it shows a real person really using that in order to accomplish a task. So another really big thing, especially for selling apparel or anything to be worn, you are wanting to bring a lot of photos to the game at different angles. So this Under Armour post doesn't have any lifestyle photos, which is a little lackluster. However, they have plenty of angles. So again, when you're trying to have the customer visualize your product, especially if it's wearable, you want these multiple angles, right? So you get it from this side, boom, 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 the whole way down. And that really, really can help a customer understand, okay, like, well, I like the front of it, but here from the back, it's just kind of lackluster. And luckily, they have this in a parentage group where you got all the different colors. You can see all of them from all different angles. It can really help drive home the sale when they see the product, especially if they're visualizing it on their body. If they had a lifestyle photo on here, it would just kind of bring it all together. These all don't need to be on a white background, but the main hero does. This is a great main hero right here. So another idea is to have a group shot, right? So I doubt a company is going to be selling this myriad of products, especially an iPod from that old. But this is just an example of a lifestyle group shot. So if I had a shampoo brand, I could line up all the shampoos and take a group shot of them together. So part of this idea here is being able to get the customer to really feel like your brand isn't just this product, or it's not necessarily that it isn't just this product, but they have multiple options to choose from, right? Not only do we have shampoo and conditioner, but we have a shampoo and conditioner for your teen that doesn't want to wash twice, But it's just giving them a feel of they're getting a personal investment in this brand. If I'm trying to buy this mouse and I realize they have this notebook, maybe I'm like, oh, well, I really like this brand, so I want to buy in. So a great example would be Apple products, right? Like, oh, I really like this phone that I have, and they just came out with this watch, and I trust this company, therefore I'm going to get it. You just are trying to increase your sales by getting people to order from you multiple times or with one click. The last thing we're going to talk about here is infographics, right? So this is another tool that you can utilize in your creation of secondary photos in order to make sure that you're catching people's eyes, you're retaining them, and most importantly, you're converting them to sales, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to deliver our products to customers, and if we're not catching their attention, what are we doing? So Samsung does a great job here of explaining the difference, right? So this is their normal TV, this is their super fancy Q color TV, right? So this is a great way of a cool photo where they showed why their product is better. This is another one where it's just a really engaging photo, cool neon colors. Oh man, it's a super fancy chip in there that optimizes, I'm not sure if they would take this down for all the text. You get a 50-50 shot on secondary photos, but it's worth the effort. This is a really, really clean thing, kind of has a uniformity to it. And this one right here is a great upsell on an additional product, right? So here's what you're buying. You either could get this remote with it, or you could say, hey, purchase this in order to unlock the Bixby voice, right? The entire idea is you're just trying to really show them why your product's better than others, or excite them just at the thought of the idea. Anyways, you have, mostly up to 8 secondary photos and a main hero to play with. The more you use, the better. Thank you for watching our video on best practices for photos on Amazon. If you need any help selling on Amazon, reach out to me at jacob@myamazonguy.com or simply leave a comment on the video with your questions. Thank you.